I'm Mark.
And I'm Zach.
Every week, on a Saturday, in the Fab Radio International Studios,
we discuss 3 of the week's comic book releases and decide if we want to
pull or pass. Hello and welcome to Pull or Pass issue 14. This is your weekly geeky comic book radio show. And I'm Mark.
And I'm Zach.
Also, Happy New Year. It is 2020.
Isn't it just? Happy New Year and that.
Yeah. We definitely didn't we totally pre-recorded this because Zach, as we speak, is in Japan, aren't you, Zach?
I am. Kind of, yeah. But
yeah.
I'm also here now.
Not now, as in the time we're recording, but now as in the time that this show is released.
Yeah.
Anyway, no news because we pre-recorded this show.
Yeah, I was tempted to fill this segment with, like, making my predictions for Wrestle Kingdom, and then when this was on air, Wrestle Kingdom would have already happened, and we would have seen.
But this isn't a wrestling show.
I know, you know.
This is a comic book show.
Can't win them all, can I?
No.
I like to think we have dozens of wrestling fans.
Maybe.
Listening.
I mean, you know, Fab Radio International used to have a wrestling show, so, you know, there's no reason why we couldn't. No! We're doing comics. This is our show, Zach. Right, shall we talk about our sponsor before we get into the main meat of this week's show?
Indeed. So our sponsor, A Travelling Man.
They are.
And they're your local comic book shop.
They are.
Manchester, York, Newcastle and Leeds.
Why have you become northern?
I don't know.
You don't know. Is it because one of them's in Newcastle? Is that what they sound like there? I don't know.
I don't know.
No.
It's just my go-to fake accent.
Good.
Yeah, they've got 4 shops. They're all definitely real and exist. They sell comics, graphic novels, the mangas, board games, CCGs,
Geeky stuff,
statues, whatnot. And they should presumably still have a winter sale going on.
Yeah, winter sale. Go and get yourself. They're cool anyway, but go and get yourself a bargain.
Up to 75% off on that.
And we both have our pulls at our local travelling man, which is Manchester, the best city in Britain.
Bold, but okay.
Yeah. Anyway, this week we are going to do our review of the year. Throughout the year, we have pulled and we have passed, and we've done it every week.
And we're probably going to do it all again next week.
Well, maybe.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
So, over the year, in 14 episodes, this is 14, so technically 13, in 13 episodes, we've both pulled around 1 in 3. So, that's essentially 1 a week, which is, whilst good for our soul, not that I believe in the soul, it's not so good for our wallet. But it's been fun. I've pulled 13, Zach has pulled 14, and out of those 13/14, 9 of them have been mutual pulls where we've both pulled the same thing.
I hate to break this to you, but I've pulled 15.
Have you?
And you've pulled, what did you say? You'd pulled 13.
Oh, yeah, because
we've both pulled 15. Oh, no, you've pulled 16 now.
What? How?
You pulled Doctor Strange last week.
So that makes it 14.
How? What?
I said I forgot about last week.
You also pulled Wonder Woman, Dead Earth, and American Jesus,
which I've put in there. You have preempted my.
I can't read your notes, but I assume your numbers are wrong.
My numbers are right, but they're not right because I haven't talked about. Anyway, we've both pulled a very similar amount, and 9 of which have been mutual. Thanks for ruining that. As if anyone would have actually checked my numbers.
I like to think we have that kind of fan base who've probably made a list.
Yeah, no.
Checked it twice.
No. Checked it twice. Christmas was 2 weeks ago, mate.
Maybe for you.
Anyway, we've pulled lots of very good stuff, and Zach's pulled some tat.
And I can say the same thing about Mark.
Not true. I've pulled great stuff.
Don't know, I'm looking at this list. You got some Spawn in there. And
Spawn's great. You pulled Ghost Rider and Doctor Doom and Count Crowley. And Money Shot, which is just porn.
It's good porn, though.
So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the mutuals to begin with. And if we have time, depending on how much we chat about them, we're going to have brief chats about our own individual ones afterwards. So, yeah, let's talk about, because it happens to be the first in my notebook, Harleen.
Indeed.
What did you think of Harleen now you've read the second?
I really liked it. I thought issue 2, so it kind of had low-key, well, not so much low-key, introductions to Two-Face, Commissioner Gordon turned up, Harvey Bullock, Jack Ryder, and references to the Scarecrow as well, Jonathan Crane. I really liked the kind of low-key intros to characters, and it kind of felt very similar to, obviously, the animated series Origins of Harley, kind of referencing all characters that we see there, and Jack Ryder.
Yeah, but
so
I just felt like they've very much segmented it into the 3 separate parts of her life, and they've done that very well. They've nicely balanced it into the 3 volumes. We've seen the first 2, and I'm predicting what we're seeing in the third, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it's a passion project where they've gone, this is what we want to do, and we're not going to eke it out to make more money.
Yeah.
But saying that, it just continues to be stunning with the presentation, and I think that's probably fair about all of the Dark Label stuff that I've pulled. They continue to be just great quality, not only just in the content but also in the presentation. And the Harleen books are just gorgeous.
I agree. I think Stefan Sayek has been doing a great job. Art and writing has both been just phenomenal throughout. I know there's been some talk online about people wanting a kind of Stefan Sayek universe where he'll do origins for other characters. And I can totally see that. I could see Isley.
I don't want it to be overdone. But
I don't want it to be overdone, but I think if we could get a kind of glimpse at some character origins we don't really see, I think that would be really nice. Obviously, this is kind of covering Two-Face, and I think having that glimpse at Two-Face from a really good art perspective and a really good writing perspective has been really nice. No, not nice. It's horrible and acid filled, but I kind of feel like it stays true to everything that we've seen from previous Harley origins.
Yeah,
but whilst putting kind of more emotion and personality into it, I feel like this is the first, like, this is who Harleen Quinzel was and this is who Harley Quinn is.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of time we just get, she was always going to start dressing as a clown. Come on, guys.
Yeah, and I think it's just I guess the question we should be asking each other is: are we pleased with our pull? Are we continuing to read it? And the answer for this is absolutely yes.
Yeah, this is. I think if you were skeptical about this, don't be. It's going to be great. I think everyone should probably pick up the trade.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's a very small amount of people. If you hate Batman and you don't like Harley Quinn, maybe this isn't for you. But if you're open to the character and seeing a proper origin story, well done, that's going to be like 150 pages maybe.
Yeah,
I think you're going to love this.
It's superb.
It's just really, really well done.
Let's briefly talk about Killer Smile. We can't, because issue 2 hasn't come out yet. Or by the time we record this, it hasn't come out
by the
yet.
time it probably is out now. Still think that first issue was incredible.
Yeah, but we can't really talk any further about it because we haven't had issue 2. There are a couple of titles that we will quickly mention that we can't talk about because we haven't read any more yet.
Maybe we'll do a kind of mid-year roundup of this.
Have you read Folklords 2?
I haven't yet. Have you?
Yeah. Is that out, or have I just not read it yet?
I think it's out, but we've not read it yet.
Right,
I think it only came out Christmas, the week before Christmas, maybe.
Yeah, and we also pulled 20XX, Red Mother, Wonder Woman, Dead Earth, the 3 of us, didn't we? If those 3, the both of us pulled.
Yes.
And they've not had an issue 2 yet.
We also pulled, was it Space Riders?
Yeah, Space Riders. I didn't realise you'd pulled Space Riders too.
Yeah. After Riders hasn't had another issue yet.
So we can talk about those in future, probably on an After Dark, maybe.
Yeah, we could do like a...
But those ones are so recently pulled.
A quarterly After Dark roundup.
Yeah, why not? But those ones we've pulled so recently that we can't actually talk about them.
So with that in mind, let's go to Dead Eyes.
Okay. In a nutshell, it continues to be exactly what I wanted and exactly what I pulled it for.
Yeah, still really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Still feels gritty, well written, kind of offbeat, funny at times.
Yeah, and dark and gritty and very much my kind of comic.
It's I've written here that it's kind of got action moving moments, but kind of through a pulp lens. So it's.
And I love how it looks at age as well.
Yeah,
I love how it. There's an element of, yes, you'll always be good at something, but you'll also you'll have the skill, but you'll lose the
edge.
Not even the edge, the body to perform it.
So he's kind of out of shape, and
his mates are out of shape.
And they're all still trying to be the tough badass thieves that they used to be, and they're not.
It's not happening. No, I agree.
But I think it's really well written, and I think it does speak a lot of age and kind of trying to stick with a career that maybe you're not fit enough for anymore.
Yeah. Forgive me, but I'm living in a world where, as someone who's Generation X, I'm never going to retire. Generation X this is oversimplifying it, but people from my generation they didn't really understand pensions as well as perhaps they should have done, and the amount of money we needed to put into pensions when we just simply couldn't afford it means that we'll be working way into our 70s compared to the boomers who got it light and the millennials who were educated. So there's an element of, I'm seeing my future here, or at least a metaphor of my future.
Yeah,
I have no plan. I'm hoping I won't get piles, and I'm hoping I won't be a vigilante, but you know what I'm getting at.
If you do become a vigilante bank robber, I think we've all just seen the admission right here.
You know what I'm getting at. Things speak to you, particularly when you empathise with bad things.
Yeah, totally fair. I just think Dead Eyes has been really good.
Yep, I've loved it.
We've got another J. Duggan title to talk about, which I'll make some references between the two when we do that. But
well, why don't we talk about that one next?
Let's do that.
Go on.
I'm very excited. So the other one was Marauders, which was the kind of X-Men who can't be on...
Piratical X-Men.
X-Men who can't get to Krakoa. Kitty's travelling around, collecting them up, getting them to Krakoa. Mm-hmm. My connection between this and Dead Eyes is both of them have a fight scene where somebody bites someone.
Well, people bite.
And obviously, I read these issues back to back, and it's like you have Pyro bite someone.
He does
because they kick Storm, and in this we have is he called Wheels bites someone who pulls a gun on Dead Eyes, and I'm thinking Duggan must just be there like fight scene. Someone's got to get bitten. Them's the breaks.
People bite in fights, don't they? And you don't. I'm struggling to think of, other than those two bites, any other comic book bites I've seen recently.
I guess that's why it stuck with me, is you don't get that. You don't get the comic book bites that often.
Or at least person bites rather than vampire bites.
Yeah.
And animal bites.
You saying that vampires aren't people?
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. They're also fantastical, creatures that aren't real. So I can insult them as much as I like. I hate you all, you vampires.
I quite like vampires, and I, for one, welcome our new overlords.
Is that right? Okay. This is another one that's continued to be great, though, Marauders.
Yeah, I have really enjoyed it. We kind of... so issue 2 and 3 kind of fit together really well, because the events of issue 2 are kind of retold in issue 3 from Sebastian Shaw's point of view.
Yeah, and as much as I pulled Marauders to be X-Men Pirates, yay, issue 3 wasn't X-Men Pirates, yay, at all.
No, we're very Hellfire Club based.
But it was still cool.
Yeah, I've really liked the way it's been done. One thing that did bug me, and it's a slight thing, the covers are by Russell Dauterman, whose art is amazing.
It is.
The interiors are not by Russell Dauterman. The artist also changes between issue 2 and 3. And the kind of inconsistent art thing
that's a shame.
Does
You're right.
Bug me a little bit. It was something I thought Marvel were trying to get a bit away from, because obviously kind of Image titles are giving us this expectation of having one team.
Yes.
I thought Marvel were putting effort in, like we saw most of Thor done by Jason Aaron and Russell Dauterman, or Jason Aaron and Issa Ribic, so I thought we were getting more of a, hey, let's do long runs where we have the same creative team. But that's a minor thing. I think storytelling wise, Duggan's doing a really good job.
Yeah, I agree.
I think both interior artists do fit together, despite being different.
Right.
And yeah, I think it's been a really enjoyable kind of look at the X-Men and seeing not the main X-Men, which often is good. Kind of seeing a slimmed down team. Pyro's cool. I'm not sure about the tattoo. I think he's going to regret that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like having Pyro as a goodie, and I think as much as we've discussed a lot about how, you know, Apocalypse is now a goodie and Magneto's a goodie, and there's no such thing as baddies and goodies, and
good guy Pyro I quite like, but as a man covered in tattoos, I have to ask, do you think he's going to regret having a skull tattooed on his skull?
It's not something that I plan personally. I love my ink, and the reason I don't have basically a completely covered body is financial rather than anything else. But I won't be having hand tattoos or neck tattoos or indeed face tattoos, because I want to pass for normie.
Yeah, fair.
Which I guess Pyro doesn't have to do. He is Pyro.
I just someday, don't know what day it's going to be, some artist is going to forget about that.
Yeah.
And he's just going to stop having a skull tattooed on his face.
I like it. I think it's cool. And it's the kind of dumb stuff that you... Goody Pyro. I like mad, goody, tattoo face Pyro. Yeah.
That's fair.
I like it.
It's bizarre, but I quite like him as a good guy.
Yeah.
Kate Pride.
Kate Stowe, don't call her Kitty.
Red Queen, Kate Pride.
Red Queen. Spoilers?
I mean, come on.
Excuse me.
She looks cool. I like.
She does.
I like the kind of subtle character redesigns we've got. But I think we've seen that with a few people. So obviously, Pyro's in his old costume, but you know now
he's a goodie.
Yeah, a goodie with his face tat.
Yeah. Are you saying tattooed people are evil?
No. We only say that with horror films. That's the callback to an old YouTube show.
True.
Incidentally, if you did want to check out our YouTube show, it's Still Real to Me, damn it, and it's available at Mark Adams' YouTube.
It is. Many, many moons ago, our many fan tuned in and watched us talk about WWE shows.
It was alright.
It was a nice premise.
We had an okay time.
We did.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
Marauders, Dead Eyes, I think Jay Duggan is doing a really good job and showing that he's got quite a lot of range between Marvel and an indie book that Marvel would probably go nowhere near.
Yeah, and they're both still very solid pulls for me. I'm very pleased with what I've been reading, and I've been reading them on the day that I picked them up. I don't religiously go on a Wednesday to pick up my pull, but when I get them, I do immediately jump both Marauders and Dead Eyes to the top of the queue.
That's fair. So, should we go to Metal Men?
Metal Men. This was a surprise pull for me because I'd never heard of them, and it was just a number one that DC happened to be putting on as a number one.
Indeed.
I loved it, and I'm still loving it. I really like it. It's weird how you can like the characters that are almost stereotyped personalities given to metal. It's a weird book. It's a weird book, and I like it, and it's fun, and I'm enjoying it.
What I will say is I'm still enjoying it, but I feel like the what's the way to put it? The tone has changed. Yeah,
it's gone away from the darkness of the inventor guy, hasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like issue 1 we were getting a kind of Metal Men getting the Mr. Miracle treatment is how I think I described it previously. Issue 2 feels more comic booky and less kind of...
Yeah, that's fair.
Less Philip K. Dick and less existential and more kind of...
Well, number 3 has come out as well. I haven't read it yet. I've only read number 2. So I really enjoyed the second issue, but I do get your point on that, and I did notice that too. So I'm going to read number 3 and carry on. I think... I certainly didn't like issue. I certainly didn't I certainly did like issue 2. And
Yes, I agree.
so maybe that darkness will trickle back in.
Yeah,
They've got 12 issues to play with. It's a maxi series, isn't it?
Yeah, and I guess it's about balancing the tone between comic book, obviously ludicrous, it's robot metals with personality based on the metal they are,
Yeah.
and the kind of existential, introspective angst of issue 1.
Yeah.
So, I'm still enjoying it, but I think I want to see more of a balance between those two things.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. And
I think if we don't strike that balance, it's going to feel like we were sold on a premise that they then kind of abandoned.
that's probably fair. I don't think I was quite as grumpy about it as that, but from what I do completely agree with what you're saying on that.
Cool. We'll see how issue 3 goes.
Yeah, we'll see how issue 3 goes.
I mean, if we do keep checking back in with our titles that we pulled, we will probably find out in our future After Dark how we did feel. So stay tuned.
True that. What's next? Should we talk about Yondu?
Unfortunately, I haven't read Yondu 2 or 3 yet.
Oh, I have. So we both pulled it, but only I've read it by the sounds of things.
Yes.
Okay.
We pull a lot of books.
We do. And
Comics are getting away from
and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on when I talk about my solo pulls. I have a rule that if I get half a year's worth, so 6 back issues that I haven't read, then I'm either switching to trades or completely dropping it. That's my kind of rule, and I think that's a pretty fair rule. If I haven't read 6 books and they just sat there next,
My rule's stricter than yours.
is it? Go on.
My rule is if I've got 3 back issues,
3.
I clearly don't care.
Right.
And so yeah, there have been things not particularly that we've done on the show, but there have been things I've dropped purely because I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I clearly don't care that much.
Yeah. So, but Yondu, I've loved it, and I have read issue 2 and 3, and they continue to be great fun. It's a heist, it's a buddy movie, and it's a space bastard. I loved it.
That's fair. I mean, that's
And it's what I wanted. It's exactly what I wanted. It's daft, it's light-hearted, it doesn't need to be in the Marvel Universe, and it's a space heist, and I love the 2 Yondus, they're dynamic, and it's great. I really didn't know what to expect from Yondu when I picked up issue 1.
Yeah.
After reading issue 1, I knew what I wanted from it after I'd read it, and I got it. So, simply put, that was a great pull for me.
yeah. I'm looking forward to reading the next 2 issues. I just haven't got around to them yet. But I think it's going to be very much what I wanted it to be.
Is it a limited one? I can never remember. Or is it an ongoing?
I thought it was limited, but I very much don't know. We keep.
I don't mind. I don't care. But it smacks of limited series, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
I haven't seen either way. We should probably do a bit more research. Whoops.
Yes, perhaps.
Oh well. I liked it. I mean, it's fun. The artwork continues to be great and really suit the title.
Cool.
And yeah, great stuff. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, looking at the titles we have pulled, I am really looking forward to reading Folklords 2, which is a book we've got. Killer Smile 2, I think, will be out by the time of broadcast, which I'm looking forward to. There are a lot of things that I am looking forward to getting more of.
I'm super excited for 20XX
Yes,
and Red Mother as well.
of course, yeah.
They're the image titles that I've pulled, and I tend to gravitate towards indie types comics rather than superheroes. And I don't think Yondu is superhero really, to be honest with you.
No, it isn't. He's very unsuperhero-y.
No.
But yeah, looking forward to a lot of the other stuff that we both pulled.
So on to our second half of the show, where we're going to talk about individually the two of us pulled quite a lot of similar books, but we also pulled books that the other ones didn't pull. So shall I start?
I'll allow it on this one.
On our episode 0, our pilot, I pulled 2000 AD. And I was talking about my 6 issues cancellation policy.
Why, yeah.
Well, it was hard on 2000 AD
Because it's weekly.
but it did get to 10. And I read the first couple, and I really did enjoy it, but I don't always read comic books immediately after I buy them from my pull. I put them in a pile on my bedside table and I read them when I'm either in the mood and not dead tired when I go to bed. And I kept putting 2000 AD to one side. Oh, I'll read them in one go. Oh, I'll read them in one go. And what's the point? I was buying 2000 AD trades anyway, and I was cherry picking there. Whereas, and it does make me sad. 2000 AD didn't do anything wrong other than being weekly and me being too busy, and that hardly seems like a fair reason. But it is £3 a week, which is suddenly, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 quid a month, and there was 30 quid's worth of comics sat on my bedside table.
Yep.
And it wasn't 6 months worth, but
it's still a lot.
Was 2. It was 2 months worth, and it was a lot of paper, and I just wasn't going to catch up, which is a real shame. And I read 2 or 3 issues on after the one I pulled, and they continue to be a lot of fun, and I enjoyed all 6 of the stories they were telling. And 2000 AD didn't do any wrong, and I feel like a baddie, but that is the only one on my pull list that I've pulled on this show that I have subsequently stopped doing, and I feel bad.
I think that's fair. I understand.
Yeah, that's fair, but it's bad.
It is difficult with weekly comics, I think.
Yeah.
It does kind of get on top of you quite easily.
And it did. And this is, I have a busy life. I've got my own business. I've got other commitments, and, I've got a comic book radio show. That takes a lot of prep. And I'm reading 3 new comics regardless every week,
Yeah, which isn't always easy. Especially if you've got like a 98-page book like incoming.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I think that's totally fair. Like I said, I 3 months is, you got 3 issues, you don't care enough.
Yeah, it's true.
You may as well be buying the trade at that point.
Yeah, and I don't hate 2000 AD. I didn't go off it. I just ran out of time and made the decision based on that. And I will still continue to buy 2000 AD trades and stuff, because I love 2000 AD, and I kind of always have done. But the weekly format just simply didn't suit me. Boo.
To kind of balance the scales, I'm going to go back for one of the things that I've dropped.
Oh.
Which goes back to Geek of the Week.
Gosh.
Yeah. So Geek of the Week, we discussed, or we briefly discussed at least, Psylords.
Yes.
I pulled Psylords.
If I remember rightly, I didn't like it.
I don't think you liked it, no. I pulled Psylords, and I kind of pulled Psylords under the belief that it was like a 6-issue series.
Right.
Yeah, I've got like Psylord issue 7 or 8 now.
Right.
And I've read the first 5, and it kind of became clear to me that it wasn't what I wanted from Psylords.
Right, okay.
So the thing with Psylords is Valiant announced it in about 2013, and then didn't make it until 2019.
Wow.
So they've kind of, it's been years in the making. I don't think anyone knew what it was going to be. It was a revival of a 90s series, but I don't think anyone knew what the new one was going to be. And I feel like the actual reality of Psylords was kind of a cool setup, but kind of became a little bit like, hey, we're carrying on, it's sci-fi, we've got this alien landscape, and all through it, it's working under the mystery of who are the Psylords and who are the people on this ship that have got lost. It's like, well, the people on the ship are from Earth, because you told us that in the preview.
Yeah.
And they're the Psylords, obviously. And
I've actually found my notes, and I found that I loved the art, loved the full-page spreads, but didn't like half a comic, and it just wasn't for me.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. My reading of it, unfortunately, was that they were kind of trying to get you invested in a mystery that you knew the answers to.
Right, okay.
So if you kind of know the answer to the question, and then you read 5 issues of, but it's a mystery, it's like, well, it isn't. I know the answers.
Right, and that's yeah.
And it's a shame. It's a shame because it's a writer and an artist that I both like. So it was Fred Van Lente and I want to say Renato Gaius, I think was the artist. But that was a series that I've kind of ended up going, I'm not reading this because I'm enjoying it. I'm reading it because I pulled it.
That's a shame. But that does happen.
It does.
Hasn't happened much by much accounts on both of us. I think
we tend to make the right decisions,
and we've been quite harsh on our pulls. We've had a lot of books that we liked, but not quite enough, and we might get the trade as a more casual way of reading it. And I think that's an important thing to say, is we've read a huge amount of really good stuff, but limited time, limited finances means that we are quite picky with our pulls, and that kind of reflects in the fact that we've both only dropped one.
Yeah, I think we've stuck with a great amount of titles, and I think the titles we have stuck with have continued to be pretty good. So yeah, going back to Silos, like I say, we're going back to even prior to Pull or Pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both dropped something.
We have. I'm going to move on to very briefly talk about two books that issue 2 hasn't come out yet. American Jesus, I literally pulled at the time of recording this, so a week ago.
Yeah.
But even by the time this show's broadcast, I doubt American Jesus issue 2 will be out. So I can't really say anything more about that. But another one I will talk about is Dollhouse Family. Mm-hmm. Issue 2 of that hasn't come out, but it's part of the Joe Hill universe. What's it called?
Hill House.
Hill House. And I'm really enjoying all of Hill House. We've had 3 issues of Basket Full of Heads now. Lolo Woods has started, and Travelling Man. I said, can you put all the Joe Hill comics on my pull? And they put literally all of Joe Hill's comics rather than just the Hill House ones.
Okay.
So I've had Dying is Easy from IDW as well, which I really liked too. So that was kind of an accidental bonus Joe Hill.
I know before Christmas IDW released a kind of compendium of all of Joe Hill's short graphic novels. Which is something I've been meaning to pick up.
I would like that.
Something that I think is ideal for you.
Yeah, I definitely think I would like that. The only thing I've not got on with when it comes to the Hill House stuff is Sea Dogs, the 2 pages at the back. I'm really struggling to... What I might do with that is give up now and read it all in one go once I've got all the comics.
What all the story is.
But that's not necessarily a criticism, it's just that my attention span and my ability to read in that kind of short... We'll see how that is later on, but as a generic Joe Hill's Hill House pull, I'm really, really pleased. Really, really pleased with everything I've read so far. It's very much my vibe.
That's really good, and it does look like a really... Every glimpse of it we've had, so the After Dark we did, and I think it does seem like it's going to be a really good, promising horror universe.
And if you remember that, I'm pretty sure I remember rightly that you said you were going to buy them all in trade anyway, so you didn't really pass on it.
No, I just felt like the nature of horror comics is sometimes it's better as a finished product.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the trades.
And I'll be honest, I will get... I read a lot of indie comics, and I generally get quite annoyed when there's delays on books I like, and that in particular, I think for any of the Hill House stuff, if it doesn't hit its schedule, I will be very, very cross, because it is like you don't get that on telly. You won't, if you've got a 13 episode series of Doctor Who, they won't
delay it.
Well, they will for Eurovision, but you know what I'm getting at. It doesn't happen anywhere near as often as it does.
That's one very specific reason.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or a big sporting event. But that happens a lot with indie comics, and it makes me very, very cross. And I wonder whether DC's kind of like 8-foot gorilla power will stop indie creators that they sign up to the Dark Label more perhaps than Image from doing that.
I would like to think that the Black Label books are probably finished and ready to go before they're released.
That does seem like a DC kind of a policy, doesn't it?
I know that's the Jeff Lemire. So I saw an interview with him a couple of years ago now, where he basically said if he writes an arc, he'll write that arc in like a week.
Right, okay.
Or a month, and then he will not think about that comic until the next arc's due.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like with Killer Smile, that's probably done.
Right, well, that makes sense. Good. I hope.
But I guess it's a hope that a lot of creators are working in that way and are kind of doing the book and then going. So hopefully all the Hill House stuff is kind of a ready to roll project.
I hope you're right, because that would suit me.
Yeah, fair.
That's your go.
It is my go. Let's have a look what we got here. Okay, so Money Shot. Hey, what's your mouth?
I've seen you, like... Right, you've never plugged it on the show, but you do, like, reviews for a website, right?
Yes.
And you've reviewed this on the website. I didn't read it. Should have done, but I didn't.
You should. It's a good review.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I started reviewing for Adventures in Poor Taste probably about, well, at the time of release, probably about 5-6 weeks ago.
Right. Why didn't you tell people on the show? You probably should have done. Fool.
Well, the reasons are twofold.
Go on.
One, the first thing I reviewed is 20XX.
Oh, okay, right.
And I didn't want to plug that in advance of the show where we were also going to review 20XX.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because I would have then given away what I was going to say like 5 days early.
Right.
And then after that, I'm disorganised.
Right. At least you're honest.
But yes, that is a thing I'm doing. I am Zachary Whittaker. I'm sure you probably know that by now.
Yeah, that is your name.
You can find me by searching me at Adventures in Poor Taste. I reviewed Money Shot 3. I reviewed Test and Queen of Bad Dreams.
Test,
the wrestler,
Yeah, is he still alive?
No.
Is he? Oh.
No, Test from Vault Comics.
Oh, okay.
But I did spend the entire review sat here singing Test's entrance theme, which essentially has one line.
Yes.
I imagine that was quite annoying. But yeah, Money Shot, so I reviewed issue 3. Issue 2 was weird, in a way. So issue 2, still funny, sexy, and then it got weirdly emotional at the end, which I didn't expect. But it was really well written, just really well put together. And issue 3... So there are things I didn't get when we first reviewed Money Shot that have made me like it way more. So things like every issue is started with the text page of explaining where the plot's up to,
right,
on a background of stars. Only on issue 3, I think, did I realise that it's a Star Wars opening crawl.
Well, yeah, I spotted that,
but I like that. I like that it's so aware that it's just laying down, hey, this is what we're into. Pulpy, yeah. And I like that it is saying that it was proudly wearing its influences. So
Yeah.
I think the Star Wars stuff in there is on the surface, the Star Trek stuff on the surface. And it's just been really good. It's really,
I'm
really
glad
good
you
book.
enjoyed it. I don't think I would have done from reading the first one. Do you genuinely think if I carried on reading it would have changed my opinion?
I'd like to think so. I think it's a weird balance of funny, heartfelt porn. And there are
straight porn. Ish.
Not entirely straight porn.
Ish.
Everyone's having sex with everyone.
No.
I think that there's things you've got. You've got the two guys. There's a scene with. So in issue 3, they do kind of scenes with all the different characters in bed together, kind of talking after they've had sex.
Right.
Which is all kind of funny and awkward and lovable. And you get a scene with Omar and Doug, the two guys.
Okay.
And they're kind of... It hammers home, who both of them are.
Right.
And it's funny, it's good, and funny, heartfelt porn. That's my review. Also, issue 3 hangs largely on, depending on the quality of your friend's threesome, on if a planet is going to get destroyed or not. And isn't that the kind of high stakes you want?
I mean, no.
I think this is one of the best comics of the year.
I'm glad you enjoy it. And like I said at the time, I'm glad it exists. I just don't want it.
I think the thing for me with this is, I think this could be Vault Saga.
Really?
Really. I think Vault are a company who've put out a lot of books. A lot of them only get one volume, and I think they've been waiting for the big hit. And I think this could be that big hit.
Good grief.
So, Money Shot, all in.
Fair enough. Well, the last one I've got on my list is Spawn. And, well, I've read 2 more issues of Spawn, and frankly my opinion hasn't changed in any way, shape or form. I'm still really enjoying it. I'm really glad I pulled it. It gives me all the kind of happy retro feels about reading a book that I read a long, long time ago. And I still want to find time to go back and read from about 50 onwards, because I ended at about 50. And
It's like 30 years worth of Spawn.
I know. And I love that Spawn's in colour, because the last time I read it, it wasn't, and that's great. But it hasn't changed whatsoever. It's been 2 more issues that I've really liked, and go Spawn. I wish I'd read it properly now, but I can't change that.
No, not easily.
No. I haven't really got much more to say. In fact, I haven't got anything else to say about Spawn, basically, but it's great.
That's
and the artwork's been gorgeous as well.
Yeah, is it McFarlane who's back on the art now?
He's done some, yes.
His name's McFarlane, right?
Todd McFarlane, yeah.
Todd McFarlane, yeah. I said it and immediately thought, wait, I'm getting mixed up with Seth MacFarlane now, but
now you've confused me. It's someone McFarlane.
It's Todd McFarlane, yeah. Seth MacFarlane's Family Guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew that. You're the worst.
I am. I like to cause chaos. So my last one to discuss is Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Which, issue 2 I had some concerns.
Oh, right, okay.
I was worried that we were getting Ghost Rider versus Ghost Rider because Ghost Rider fights Ghost Rider, and that's...
Yeah, that's the one where Johnny Blaze has taken over Hell, right?
Yes, Johnny Blaze is King of Hell, and he kind of throws down with Danny. Danny Ketch, he's trying to be like, hey man, come on, chill out. You know, there's demons everywhere, and you're kind of cleaning that up, but no one else knows the demons because they all look like humans, and it kind of... Yeah, it's a bit too common for me that we get that fight. I understand the reason it happens here. Johnny continues hunting demons that only he can see. Mephisto... I
like Mephisto.
Mephisto's still in his cell, and we kind of see in Incoming, Johnny's on his way to free Mephisto.
Oh, we did as well, didn't we?
So... I read issues 1, 2, and 3, and then obviously that helped as well, because I'm like, okay. I speculated when we reviewed issue 1 that we were going to get good guy Mephisto.
You did.
And I think that's still true. Hotel Inferno is full of demons who want to kill Mephisto. Johnny's on his way to free Mephisto. I think we're getting the Ghost Rider Mephisto team up, and I'm really into it.
Bizarre.
We also got... So the ending of issue 2... Johnny they're on top of the Brooklyn Bridge. He grabs Danny, hangs him over the edge, and strips him of the Ghost Rider.
Oh,
and dumps him off a bridge.
That's
and
not
it's
nice.
Like, wow. So it kind of mirrors what we see with Mephisto and Blaze in Damnation, but kind of obviously with the King of Hell role reversed. And yeah, I'm kind of was skeptical with issue 2, but I'm still into it, and I'm still looking forward to what we might get with Johnny's kind of losing it. Mephisto's probably about to join in. Danny and the Caretaker, that did come together. The Caretaker did matter.
Okay.
So Danny and the Caretaker are together, and they're kind of hot on the heels of Blaze, and trying to find him and calm him down and get him to be just Johnny again, rather than all obsessed with hunting demons. So I think there's a lot of potential still. I'm not sure how long the series is, much like we said with Yondu. I don't know if this is just like a 6 and done, or if we're going to have a long-running Daredevil? Long-running Ghost Rider. But I'm curious as to where this is going to lead, and I would like to see... I still want Mephisto. I love Mephisto. He's a quality devil.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I still think this is good, and I think if you're into Ghost Rider, this is still going to be a recommendation for people.
And that's our special review show, Zach. Like, our review of the year.
It is. It's our year in review, our retrospective.
We are going to do exactly the same thing, exactly the same format in 2020, so there isn't anything to plug about that. I have no idea what I'm going to do next week. Well, not next week now, but next week in the show continuity when you're not here. But I'll try and find someone to talk with, maybe, or I'll sit on my own and play music. I don't know. That's for Future Mark to deal with.
I believe in Future Mark.
Future Mark can deal with that.
You've got at the time of recording, at least, you've got 2 weeks to figure it out.
I have.
That's an eternity.
I have. I'll work something out. And then you're back the following week, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be back the week of the 13th, so it'll be the 18th.
Something like that.
Be my next appearance.
So we don't know what we're putting on for next week, because that's so far in the future for Future Mark to deal with. Keep your eye on our social media, and we'll keep you updated that way.
Yeah, and have a cracking 2020.
Yeah. Thanks for listening for like the last 3 months of the year, and please continue listening, because we like having people listening.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Shall I do the catchphrase, even though it doesn't really work now?
For the last 3 months, we've passed.
And we'll do it all again in 2020.
Which it currently is. We know that.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Pull or Pass. To listen again, it's www.mixcloud.com/pull-or-pass.
Or you can listen to the podcast version on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and all other good podcast sites.
Join our Facebook group, search for Pull or Pass Radio Show.
Follow us on Twitter @PullOrPass.